So when we become preoccupied with our needs, the ego is typically in operation whenever there is a sense of urgency around it. Whenever there's a sense of ultimatum around it. Whenever there's a sense of, if I can't get them to do this, then I cannot, blah, blah, blah. Because you are when you are operating from that place, you are stepping out of your center. You are assuming a place of disempowerment. You can't jump to it. You can't jump to it. It is a process. It's a process. And so what would be the other type of need? Well, the other type of need is usually an expression of a belief that supports you as always being in a position of self-empowerment, self-advocacy, what I like to call self-sovereignty. And so it's a voice that says, there's time to figure this out. There's time to figure this out. There are a myriad of possible solutions that could be arrived at here. We don't have to have all the answers. We don't need to know the outcome right now. Do we really need this? Let's be curious about what the other person might contribute to this. Ask about their ideas, ask about their experience, be curious about your own experience. Is this something I really do need? Have I explored other ways of getting this need met? Am I thinking about the meaning of this need in a narrow way? Am I assuming there's only one possible solution in this scenario? So let's see, aligned part of you, there's almost never a sense of urgency. Almost never. Because the aligned part of you knows that you are all powerful and that you are connected to source energy and that is an eternal circumstance. So there's never a sense of urgency. And it also knows that you cannot take a right or wrong step. There's no such thing as a waste of time. Every experience that you have is you are expanding into in some fashion, even if it's a difficult one. Okay. And so that's hard. That's hard. And because we don't like to sit with that, because we don't know how to be with ambiguity. And if that is something that you struggle with, I would actually invite you to check out my YouTube channel, because this week we've been doing a 7-day creativity challenge to reduce anxiety. And yesterday we talked about using mandalas as a creative physical intervention to work with, how do we hold ambiguous feelings? How do we sit with ambivalence until an answer emerges? And this is the thing I would emphasize is, if you have a question, do I stay or do I go? Or you're feeling a sense of urgency that you have to take action right now, right? Or your life will forever be ruined, right? The universe would never be so stingy. Never be so stingy, right? And if you can sit with the ambivalence, if you can sit with the question long enough and be in a process of communing with yourself, the answer will emerge, and or your environment will start to shift around you and reveal new information if you can just be patient with it. And either that new information will give you more information that stimulates the emergence of that answer, or the answer will just come of its own volition, because you've created enough spaciousness inside through a repetitive practice of being in reflection and dialogue with yourself, that now you've created space for it to emerge. And once it emerges, wild horses couldn't stop you from doing what you know you must do. From doing what you know you must do. So, and it's not even the action. The action in this sense is almost like an afterthought. It's like not even beside the point. The point is, what were you qualitatively experiencing in the process? And now the outcome is just evidence of the process. But the process is what we're getting at here. Okay, and I know I'm speaking in a fairly abstract way, but to simplify that is to say, any need that makes you feel a state of urgency, makes you think there's a right or wrong way to go, makes you think that if it doesn't happen now, it never will, is an rigid ego-based expression. And it's typically being fueled by a fear-based survival fear, which makes you know that there's an attachment thing in operation, okay? And attachment, again, not a bad thing, helps the species survive, right? It works for us. But once you know that that's what is in operation, now you can step back and take a look at, what is my real desire here? What is this fear? What's on the backside of this fear? What am I not accepting about myself that would actually make this fear obsolete? And usually it is an understanding that you are, that you have an eternal source of energy and connection within you, and that your value is inherent. There's nothing in the world that could change your value. So reasonable versus unreasonable need. Reasonable attachment need, actually. I need and want to be in a relationship with someone who respects me and who enjoys spending time with me and likes good conversation. Perfectly reasonable attachment need. Okay. Unreasonable attachment need. I need and want this partner, this person to be all that I need them to be. And if they can't be all that I need them to be, then either I have to lower my expectations to accommodate, or I have to find someone else that's going to do this for me. Right. It's a very limited scope. It's a very limited scope, right? And if I can't make it work with this person, I can't make it work with anyone. If I leave them, they're just going to marry the next person they date anyway, so on and so forth. So forth. We've got all these urgent narratives, all these right, wrong, urgent narratives that start unfolding, and that becomes all the ego stuff, that rigid ego stuff that gets layered on top of it. We want to soften that a little bit.